Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. Time to talk about the Google Pixel 9a. Now, I had this device for a week now. Been putting out some content on it and letting you guys see, hey, this is what it's about. Compare next to the 8a and then also the iPhone 16e. So this device is special in its own. I can understand why Google went this route. Because they had to dumb this phone down a lot, or it starts to compete with the other phones that are on the higher side. Like this is a 9 Pro, and I have a 9 Pro XL. It just starts to compete with phones way up there, and it might excel and go move past them if they put too much into this device. They're not going to do that because they want you to buy those devices first, which is why they released them first. So price $499 for 128 gig. This is $599 because it's a 256 gig. And then those are the memory options. Who told these companies that if you're releasing a budget phone or a less expensive phone that people wouldn't want 512 gigs or 1 terabyte of storage? Well, folks, I personally believe they don't do this because they know you'll buy these phones over the more expensive phones. That's the only thing I can think of, because there's no reason why these phones don't have 512 gig options, or even Apple decided to do it with the iPhone SE, give a 512 gig, or 16e. they decided to do a 512 gig, which is what I have there. So once Google can figure out certain things like that with the price, because if 256 gig, they could have really undercut Apple with this one too. This is $499 for 128 gigs. Apple's 16e is $599 for 128 gigs. And then so 256 with this one is $599, and then $699 on the iPhone 16e for 256. But the iPhone 16e jumps way up to $900 when you want a 512 gig like this, which I think is crazy. Google could have easily done $799 512 gig version of this phone. They'd have been set. While the price is coming in and undercutting a lot of people, a lot of companies, and for what this phone is offering, it is definitely good. You've got Gemini in there for that price. All the AI and stuff is there. 8 gigs of RAM across all models. So you do have a 1080p display that goes from 60 to 120 hertz. Peak brightness is 2700, and it supports HDR. So I'm going to fire up a video here. This is full brightness on this phone here. And it's a pretty good looking display, man. I mean, for what it is, when you think about it, today's world, it's going to take a lot to compete with certain brands. And Google, I don't think they're trying to compete so much with the other brands. I think they're trying to hold steady in their lane and bring out what they think might be appealing to people. So with that said, this is a good display for the price. I mean, it's a really solid display. Now the speakers, no,
$3,000,
not so much.
It's really only like 36.8 or something like that, or 37,000. And you factor in, folks, the 0%.
Oh, the speakers on this thing are loud, but when you start to compare them next to other phones, you know that they're not loud and clear as well. So good setup. I really like what they're doing here. But this is peak brightness on this phone right here. This isn't very bright indoors, and even outdoors. It's okay. It's not as bright as what they claim with 2700 in my experience. I think other phones have much better displays, but it is what it is. So you have a body of 6.1, but they've pushed it out, and they've got this 6.3 inch display in here. So I'm pretty excited to see what they're doing here. But this 5,100 milliamp hour battery inside of here, folks, is absolutely great. This phone lasts me for 3.5 days, I think it did. And it didn't even die. It didn't die. I just put it on, I put it on the charger at 30%. Yeah, I put it on the charger at 30%. Let me turn down the brightness here. See, that was full brightness. And yeah, these phones just aren't that good on displays when compared to other phones. All my Pixels have lower quality brightness displays than the other ones. But anyway, performance-wise, 8 gigs of RAM, the Tensor G4 chip. It's cool, man. I mean, there's a lot to like about this phone because of the price. So you've got this dual camera setup here. You've got a 48 megapixel wide camera, and then you have a 13 megapixel ultra wide camera. which is just, it's decent. It's good that they have an ultra wide camera, because unlike the iPhone, they don't have an ultra wide camera. They just decided to make a wide lens, which is, you know, it is what it is. That's what they decided to do. But I'm glad Google stuck to the ultra wide lens, and they even gave it a f2.2 aperture with 120 degrees field of view. So it's good. It's really good. The front camera is a 13 megapixel camera. Again, that f2.2, but it has a 96 degrees field of view. So it's pretty good. You do have the super res zoom up to 8 times. And I think there's some good things about this camera. Like I could read off the specs, like real tone, macro focus, ADME, night sight, astrophotography, portrait mode, face unblur, I could read off all these things, magic editor, magic eraser, photo unblur, photo light, portrait light. It's a whole bunch of stuff in here, but the reality is the cameras are good. They're just good. Do they beat out a lot of other cameras? I don't think so. I focus mainly on video because I like to do a lot of videos and I like to record with phones. Now, obviously I'm not recording with the phone right now. This is my Sony mirrorless camera with the lens on it, but this phone can do 4K 30 and on the front, and 4K 30 60 on the rear. And the rear topping out with 1080p at 60 frames per second. And you got 5 times digital zoom. So the camera quality that I look, okay, so I wanted to show you this here. This is a video. Let me turn the brightness back up. This is a video that I was using to test against the iPhone 16e, and I recorded both phones with this footage. And you know, I gave the head nod for sure to the iPhone because the stabilization I felt was better, and the electric Escalade is dope. It's really nice, and that's the regular Escalade. This is the new 2026 Optic. Looks like a baby Escalade, trust me. But yeah, I'm gonna pause it on a color here, and I want you to see this real time here to show you what I'm talking about. This phone just doesn't record in the accurate colors on certain things, and then it just seems dimmer and just not as accurate as the iPhone when I put it against it. So let me pause it on this actual colors here. Boom, right there. So you're gonna look at this and say, oh, that's a nice color. Is it like a burnt orange or something? That looks really good. That's not the color of the car. Let me show you the real color of the car. And this is exactly why I gave the head nod to the iPhone, because it totally did it the right way. I'm pulling it up here. I'm gonna pause it on the spot, same spot. Bam. This is the color of the car. Now there's no way that I see other people in the video saying, oh, you know, Pixel for life. I'm like, I hear you, man. I'm definitely pro Pixel. But this is not the color of this car. This looks like peach or some kind of color. It's this deep red right here, folks. When you're looking at black and white cars, I really couldn't tell too much. I couldn't tell too much at all. But I can tell you, this is not producing the footage with their accurate colors. And so, before you experts get in the comments and start saying, oh, the fact is, this is a good set of cameras. But when you start to compare it next to other phones shooting the same content, you can see the flaws. And that's just not with the iPhone 16e. I can put the iPhone 16e next to an Oppo or something like that, and it might have worse colors than the Oppo Find N5. You know, it just depends. So the Google's Pixel 9a's cameras are really good. They're just not great. They're just not as great, and neither is. I wish I had my Pixel 9 Pro with me. I would have shot that same video and see how this phone would have done. But I could put a whole bunch of phones next to each other and record, and you'll get a different contrast from every camera. People who are using their cameras are not adjusting in pro mode. The majority of consumers are just doing point and shoot. And if I were to show someone this video, they would say, wow, that looks amazing. And then I would show them what the colors actually look like from a different phone. They're going to say, what? That's what's going to happen. So while I do like these cameras, they are definitely not the best. But again, I understand when it comes down to price, does it really matter? These are going to be great cameras either way. You know, like, does it really matter that the colors were off a little bit? Well, to a person who uses video cameras a lot, it will. Just think of a consumer who doesn't have a lot of money and they have $628 to spend and they need some storage and they want a phone that can take phenomenal photos and really good video. They might go for this option. So, and there's a lot of phones in the 500 or less category or 600 or less category that are really good. A lot of people start to look at previous generations of phones like the Pixel 8. A lot of people have been asking me, well, should you get the Pixel 8? Folks, if you're looking at this phone, you're not, consumers don't shop like that, I think. All the consumers I know, they don't shop looking at previous generation phones. Here we go. Check this out. All right, so you've been asking, well, should I get this? Should I get this? I've already made a video comparing these two. And I told you that you probably don't need to upgrade if you have this phone right here. There are some things, I think on the 8A, it's just a lot better. It's just a lot better, and there's no getting around it. It's really good. But for a person who keeps bringing up previous generations and they say, well, should I get the 8? I would say get the 8 Pro, because I think these phones probably cost about the same right now. $599 for these, and I think you could probably get this in a 256 for like 600 or 6. I'm not even sure. I haven't checked the price lately, but I know these are heavily discounted, brand new. So I wouldn't tell a person to get this over this. If you're just really worried about like saving as much money as possible, you're always going to be able to look at the previous generations. But, you know, again, it depends on who you're talking to. It depends on who you're talking to. Everybody doesn't want to buy the previous generation phones. They just don't shop like that. They don't shop like that. They shop with the intent of looking at what's new, what's current, and this is what I'm going to buy. So it sounds like this phone, oh, Jay, you don't really like the phone. Oh, no. I like it a lot. I love the hardware. I love the cameras. But when you're doing comparisons, these just don't measure up like I think they should. Because let's be fair here, and let's be very clear, $500 is still a lot of money. It's for something like this, for like a cell phone. Which is why a lot of people finance their phones. They don't even bother to pay full cost. They don't care if they're unlocked. They don't care. Carriers are still running things, folks. Contrary to what you might believe, the tech community is the small side of things. There's so few of us paying full cost for these phones, and a lot of people are getting loaners and stuff like that, and they're sending them back, and a lot of people are buying their own. But a lot of people are not paying full cost for phones. There is no value here unless you're getting some return on it, like creating content with it. So I think that the value is here for the consumer that could get this free on a carrier. If you use the link in the description, you can get it free on Google Fi, I believe, or you get $200 off, whichever you choose. But and carriers are probably going to have them too, I believe. But I just feel like there's so much to like about this phone. But then to a person like myself who uses higher tier phones, if you will, my expectations are always going to be a little bit higher and a little bit more unrealistic, I'll say, when it comes to the average consumer. There is nothing to hate about this phone. Nothing to hate. But when I look in the $500 to $600 bracket, there's other phones that I definitely would take above this one. But if you're just comparing Google to Google, then yeah, this is a win. This is a really good phone. It's got the latest chip. It does everything the higher tier phones do. It's got an IP rating. It's got 7 years of operating system updates. It's got everything a person could need to hold onto their phone for 7 years. But are people really doing that? No. People are buying every year and they're upgrading with every new device that drops out. So a week with this phone, somebody asked about battery life. And I think I pointed out already, this phone lasted about 3.5 days, but I put it on the charger at about on the going into the 4th day, and it had like 26% left or something like that. 28% left. No, it had 36% left. They killed it on this phone. They killed it. They killed it. They did a great job. Let's not say they killed it. They did a phenomenal job on this phone. Again, the hardware has grown on me. The look, I love this color. I think this is the best color of them all. The battery is stellar. The software is great. The cameras are good. The video cameras are decent. I've taken some portrait shots with this, and it's a Pixel, folks. So if you're in the market and wondering whether you should get this phone or not, and you're comparing it next to other phones, all I can tell you is that if you're gonna keep comparing the phone to previous generations, you probably don't really want this phone. So you need to go and look in probably in a different direction. But if you're willing to just go in knowing that you're gonna get what you're gonna get from this particular phone, I think you'll be okay. This is a good buy for a lot of people. I think the more people look into getting this and look into what I want to say, not looking for what was and they're looking for what is. Well, this is what they're offering their so-called budget range, and I can recommend it. I can recommend it over a lot of phones, but not over too many phones in this price range because to me it falls short in key areas for my usage. It's your man Jay. I will follow up again. Yes, I really do like this device. I'm just being honest in my experience so far in the last 7 days. So software updates. I haven't gotten any software updates yet. No, I got one right out of the box. But I haven't gotten any more since then. And I don't anticipate I will anytime soon. But again, I'm using it on Mint Mobile. Works on Visible, T-Mobile, AT&T. It's unlocked, so it works on pretty much any Verizon. It'll work on everything. So I think if you're in for it, man, and you're ready to jump into what Google is doing that's new, this is it. It's your man Jay. If you guys enjoyed, I will see you in the next one. Take care.